Hello everyone. Here is Jack, narrating the motion picture Jurassic World, DoMiNiOn. A long time back, when Jurassic Park was delivered, PC created and carefully composited impacts were still somewhat new. However, Chief Steven Spielberg's group raised them to another degree of believability by conveying them sparingly, frequently in evening and stormy scenes, and blending them in with outdated viable FX work, fundamentally mannequins and huge scope models. The outcome summoned base miracle and fear in the personalities of watchers. The T-Rex assault specifically was so splendidly developed that it put this essayist sideways in his seat, one arm brought up before his face as though to safeguard against a dinosaur assault. At the point when there was a break in the disorder, Spielberg sliced to an exceptionally calm scene, allowing everybody to hear the number of individuals in the crowd that had been shouting in trepidation, which obviously prompted rowdy chuckling and an arrival of strain, a player's stunt. A little kid sitting close to this essayist respected his still dread-twisted body and inquired, "Sir, would you say you are okay? There's nothing in Jurassic World, Domain, that comes near that first Jurassic Park T-Rex assault, or some other scene in it. Or on the other hand besides, any of the scenes in the Spielberg-coordinated spin-off, The Lost World, which made the best of an unavoidable money-get situation by regarding the film as a reason to organize a progression of stunning enormous-scope activity successions, and giving Jeff Goldblum's confusion scholar Dr. Ian Malcolm the activity legend work. Goldblum, who repeats his job in Territory, close by individual unique cast individuals Sam Neill and Laura Dern, turned his Lost World execution into a wry yet irritable meta-editorial on corporate free enterprise. Besides, there's nothing in this new film as great as the most awesome aspects of Jurassic Park the Third, Jurassic World, and Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. The last option had the most amazing turns since the first, conjuring Spielbergian sorcery, consider that shot of the brachiosaur abandoned on the dock, and blending gothic awfulness and scary place film components into its final part. Jurassic Park maker Michael Crichton's unique motivation, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, was referred to through the personality of Maisie Lockwood, Isabella Message, a clone made by John Hammond's colleague to supplant the little girl that he lost. Maisie is one of many significant characters highlighted in DoMiNiOn, and her disastrous situation has upsetting new subtleties added to it. However, returning establishment chief co-essayist Colin Trevorrow, author, overseer of Jurassic World, and his teammates can't zero in on their more profound ramifications sufficiently long to foster Maisie with the refinement expected for an extraordinary or even great science fiction thriller. The misusing of Maisie is nevertheless the slightest bit of scrap in this dumpster of a spin-off. The film opens with Claire Dearing, Bryce Dallas Howard, one-time park task supervisor of Jurassic World turned top of the dissident dinosaur insurance gathering, breaking into a farm where child plant eaters are being kept and indiscreetly choosing to save one of them. Then she goes to a lodge in the blanketed Sierra Nevada mountains, where Maisie is residing with the recreation area's previous raptor whisperer Owen Grady, Chris Pratt. The three structure an improvised family unit zeroed in on safeguarding Maisie against parties who need to take advantage of her for hereditary and monetary benefit. The semi-tamed raptor blue lives with them too, and has abiogenetically delivered a kid, reflecting Maisie's relationship to her mom's hereditary material, however so erratically that maybe the movie producers scarcely even considered the two animals being specifically connected. There's likewise a corporate covert operative plot, as in the majority of different movies, including a neglectful or potentially evil enterprise that discussions of enchantment and miracle yet is for the most part keen on taking advantage of the dinos and the innovation that made them. From The Lost World forward, the replacements to stop pioneer John Hammond, Richard Attenborough, a pleasant elderly person who had good intentions however neglected to thoroughly consider the ramifications of his activities, have been effectively slippery miscreant types. The weighty in this one is Dr. Lewis Dodgson, a person from the first film who's been re-evaluated and elevated to president of Biosyn. Biosyn, get it? Dodgson recruited another common JuRaSSiC character, B.D. Wong's Dr. Wu, ostensibly the genuine antagonist of the greater part of these movies, however in a neglectful, John Hammond kind of method for rearing ancient beetles that are hereditarily coded to eat up each food crop, save for designed plants sold only by the organization. Dodgson is the brains behind the abducting of Maisie and Blue's youngster. Entertainer Campbell Scott utilizes innovative non-verbal communication and eccentric phrasings and stops to contribute the undercomposed Dodgson with an unmistakable character. He transforms him into a send-up of two ages of child of post-war America and age X tech brother entrepreneur masters. Dodgson is a man who holds himself like a harmony-cherishing nonconformist yet is actually a ravenous elitist who keeps dark marketeers and employed executioners on retainer. The warm-voiced yet dead-peered-toward way that Dodgson conveys mindful is particularly chilling, like a zombie Steve Occupations. It's the film's second most inventive exhibition after that of Goldblum, who never moves or talks very as you anticipate that he should, and exclaims things that sound made do. Reprimanding associates who are moving too leisurely for his taste, he snaps, "For what reason would you say you are lurking?" All story streets join at Biosyn Central Command, where Neil and Dern's Alan Award and Ellie Sattler have gone to ask Ian Malcolm's assist in getting with fixing privileged data that can end the ancient grasshopper plague, and where Maisie and Blue's child have been brought so their hereditary mysteries can be mined also. Two new characters, Han Solo-ish soldier of fortune pilot Kayla Watts, Juanda Savvy, who says she would rather not engage in the legend's concerns and afterward does, and Dodgson's frustrated attendant Ramsey Cole, Mamoudou Athi, join the interest, and probably are being presented as new age non-entities who can assume control over the establishment. Regardless of whether the whole film had zeroed in on Biosyn Central Command, the film actually could have appeared to be overstuffed and under-envisioned. In any case, Trevorrow transforms the film into a worldwide travelogue, each succession feeling narratively cut off from the others in the way of an unsatisfactory covert operative flick. There's even a roof pursuit displayed on one in The Bourne matchless quality, yet with a raptor. A long succession in Malta, where Claire and Owen have gone to save Maisie from hijackers, typifies the film's disappointments. There are a ton of promising ideas in it, including a dinosaur-scented bootleg market like something out of a Star Wars or Indiana Jones film, where crooks go to purchase, sell, and eat illegal and jeopardized species. Yet, it's scattered by a lethargic inclination of comic book Orientalism and an appearing failure to try and see, substantially less exploit, possibly rich material. Michael Giacchino's score pours on vile Arabic African extraordinary platitudes, as though setting up an adults-only jail thrill ride in which Owen does a Midnight Express spell in a Turkish jail for ganja ownership. An activity scene that tosses Owen and the lead hijacker into a battling pit where spectators bet on dinosaur battles is as detachedly made and altered as in effectively virtually every other activity scene in the movie, and it becomes discouraging once you ponder what Spielberg, or even his number 1 second unit chief Joe Johnston, Jurassic Park III, could have finished with it. It might have been a small showstopper of activity, droll, and social editorial, with the picked crowd at first responding with shock when their consistently planned dino battles are upset, then, at that point, joyfully changing gears by wagering on the two people who are going at one another, making new chances and giving off fistfuls of money while baying for blood. Trevorrow takes a gander at this arrangement and sees only a legend battling a thug in a pit. There's no scene in the film that is totally useless. Doubtlessly that as of now, the JuRaSSiC processing plant knows how to plan and enliven ancient animals and incorporate them with true-to-life scenes of entertainers running, shouting, shooting, setting fires, and such. But the entirety feels impassively collected, and the stalkings and pursues and dino fights are generally deprived of the life and passing pressure that each and every other establishment passage has figured out how to bring. What's more, the plotting is horrifying, depending too intensely on happenstance and accidents of timing, retro-designing special interactions among new and prior characters, and giving the legends significant triumphs as nonchalantly as a lodging work area representative giving a visitor a room key, rather than allowing them to procure them through inventiveness. Trevorrow even figures out how to reuse, not once yet multiple times, one of the main shrewd gags in his Jurassic World, a remark on the 40-year monetary and exhibition heightening of the late spring blockbuster, wherein an extraordinary white shark, the animal at the focal point of Spielberg's weighty 1975 film, Jaws, gets eaten by a mosasaurus the size of a high-rise. Each time Trevorrow follows through with something like this, it seems like a significantly more frantic endeavor to help us to remember how much fun we might have had during Jurassic World, which wasn't that extraordinary of a film to begin with, and that was eating out on warm social extras in any event, during its best minutes. There are additionally scenes where characters, principally yet not consistently Malcolm, attach the entrepreneur ravenousness of Biosyn to the film you're staying there watching. In any case, these don't have the mind and perkiness that fueled comparative material in The Lost World. They simply appear to be coagulated with self-hatred and attention to how empty the entire presentation is. At a certain point Malcolm rebukes himself for taking the organization's cash to fill in as their in-house logician master despite the fact that he knows they're pessimistic corporate exploiters, and there's a self-gashing edge to Goldblum's voice that causes it to appear as though it's the entertainer as opposed to the person who's admitting to low private norms. To top it all off, the series again neglects to investigate its most tempting inquiry: how might our reality change assuming dinosaurs were added to it appropriately? The initial segment packs any mostly fascinating or entertaining thing that Territory could need to say regarding this subject into a television news montage, appearing, for example, a young lady being pursued on an ocean side by child dinos, a respect to The Lost World, a couple delivering birds at their wedding just to have one of them get grabbed out of the air by a pterodactyl, and pteranodons settling on the Planet Exchange Center, conceivably a reference to Larry Cohen's Hugh, the Winged Serpent, where an old Aztec god homes in the Chrysler Building. An hour and a half of film like this, short any characters or plot whatsoever, presumably would have brought about an imaginatively better utilization several $100 million than Jurassic World, DoMiNiOn, which will without a doubt be a raving success on the request for the wide range of various sections in the establishment, despite the fact that it doesn't do significantly more than the absolute minimum you'd expect for one of these movies, and not well enough.